welcome to tonight's stream. It's good to have you here this evening. I am going to start off with a little bit of Beyonce's "Love on Top." 1, 2, 3. Hello to Texas. Hello to Kansas City. Hello Singapore. By Beyonce to kick off tonight's live stream. Wherever you're tuning in from, I hope you're doing well. I hope you're maintaining as much of your sanity as possible in all the lockdown conditions, if where you are is still locked down. We are definitely still on lockdown here in Ireland, and it looks like we'll be locked down for about another 2 or 3 weeks at the very least. It's funny, I saw one of the comments on Instagram that came in there was, "Are you a full-time musician?" And the answer is, until about a week ago, I was. And I don't know about it anymore. Unfortunately, the cancellations of live shows keeps on coming through, and it doesn't look like anything that's planned for this year is now going to happen. Unfortunately, I'm hoping that whatever's left will go through, but given the way that things look in the world at the moment, it's not looking hugely likely. I'm ever the optimist, but we'll see how it happens. let's see who's online at the moment asking questions. You were one of the reasons I started taking lessons after your class at the Iowa Irish Fest. It was great last year. Oh, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. I'm glad I could inspire you to keep going. And Iowa is one of the few festivals that hasn't been cancelled yet, so I'm holding out hope for it. But we'll see what happens over the next couple of weeks. You took on the Queen perfectly. Thank you, Liz. I appreciate that. The tough part about that tune, and something I'm going to talk about a lot tonight, is some of the guitar arrangements I've done. The very tough part about that tune is that it has 5 key changes at the end. So I start off playing the tune in C, and I go into the chorus. But of course Beyonce goes up another 4 keys, so I decided to do the same. So eventually goes up to, then it gets up here, kind of tricky in your left hand, and then I kind of cheat a bit on that. On the very last one I go right up, into the unplayable territory up here, the dusty end of the fretboard. But what I do is, it's in the same key as down here. It's in E. So what I can do is I can go straight back down and so I kind of cheat a little bit there to make it a little bit easier, but it's still all 5 key or all 4 key changes. How long have you been playing the guitar? I've been playing the guitar since I was 12 and I'm 26 now, so that's 14 years I've been playing. Alright, so as I said earlier, what I want to focus on this week more than anything is a lot of the guitar arrangements I've done. They're probably the things I get requested for the most in these live streams and in the concerts as well. So I'm going to run through some of the guitar arrangements I've done, mostly playing them, and I'll explain bits and pieces of the arrangements as I go. If there's anything specific you'd like to know about, send me a message, leave a comment on either Facebook, VK, Twitter, YouTube, wherever you're watching, or Instagram, of course, and I'll do my best to try and keep track of the comments as much as I can. But for now, here's a little bit of my Chic / Nile Rodgers medley. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bit of the Chic Nile Rodgers medley for you there. In a nutshell, for those of you who don't know the story, I uploaded that medley a couple of years ago online, and Nile Rodgers found it on Twitter and retweeted it to his followers. And that encounter ended with us meeting in Dublin and getting to kind of talk one-on-one and play a little bit of guitar. So I like playing that, not only because I love the tunes, but it brings back the memory of how kind he was to me at that time. So I really, really enjoy playing those pieces. So that's my Chic medley. I suppose the most difficult thing about that is trying to fit in all those crazy chord changes in the middle, you know. What I listened out for, you know, generally what I listen out for in an arrangement is I go for the melody first. So can I get the melody of the song onto the guitar? Then I look for the chords. What are the most important part of the chords? How can I drag them out there? So I look for the bass line. Something like Everybody Dance has a real kind of boom, 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 boom. So I've got to keep that going while getting the rest of the chords in. So then it sounds like that kind of groove. Then we put in the chords from the song. So all the time I've got that boom, 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 boom going on in the background. The same thing, the one that inspired me to kind of put that medley together first was trying to work out how to do the bass line from Good Times to probably the most famous bass line in the world. And so I always wanted to find a way to be able to play the rhythm part. So the closest thing I could find to play on my own was this. And that's how I put it together. So that's how I get that sound on the guitar. So it's a complicated style to play. It's not easy. It takes an awful lot of practice. I see Mark's joined us from Singapore. Hey, Mark. I've been listening to Mark today, actually. I've been listening on your Instagram. You're a great player. So keep it up, because what you're doing is great. I also saw Chloe Hennessy joined in. Chloe Hennessy is a friend of mine in New York, and she has just released a single called Time Bomb, which I'm playing on. When I was in New York at the beginning of the year, I recorded on that track, and it's out for release. It's just been released in the last couple of days. Greg is asking, what mics are you using? This is a Rode mic. This is an NT1 or an NT2, I think it is. And these are Sennheiser MK4s, and I'm running the whole thing through a Mackie DL32R system. And that's how I'm getting the sound via Facebook Live. So listen, if there are any requests that you have in terms of my guitar arrangements, please feel free to ask me. I've got a list of them here, but I'd like to hear what you want to hear. So if you know any of the guitar arrangements that I do and you'd like to hear me play them on the live stream tonight, feel free to ask for them. I'm going to continue on with what will I do next? I'll do a little bit of American Patrol by Glenn Miller. This is a really fun one to play. It's also incredibly difficult. So here we go. 2, 3, 4. Patrol by Glenn Miller. That is a tune that I arranged about a year or two after my grandfather, Mikey Hennessy, passed away. He was a very well-known musician around my hometown, Carlow, and he was really big into that style of music, that big band swing era style of music. So I arranged that for guitar, and as I said, it is an incredibly difficult piece of music to play. What I tried to do was, in that arrangement, I tried to get all the big band voicings rather than just trying to get a chord and a note with it. I tried to follow all the brass voicings. So what I did was, in the middle part of the tune, you hear this come in. Not very guitar friendly. That I thought was important was there's a section in the middle where the trumpets take off on their own. They go. So I thought, okay, well, this sounds different in the recording. How can I make it sound different on the guitar? And the way I thought about doing it was to switch around what I normally do. Instead of playing a chord and the melody on top, which is what I usually do, I switched it on its head. So for that section I went, and I kept this chord going off the beat. So when you put that together, it sounds like this. And that's a tough thing to do in the middle of a song, because you're telling your brain to do the opposite of what you've been doing up to that point. So it's a difficult one to get under the fingers, and it takes a lot of consistent practice. There is a tab for it on my website if any of you are interested in learning it. I wrote out a tab of my arrangement, and it's on my website, shanehennessy.ie. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that one. As I said, if you have any other questions about any of these guitar arrangements, fire away. I'll just take some of these questions here. What do we have? We have, are you planning at being on the Michigan Irish Festival this year, assuming it's still happening? Absolutely. If it goes ahead, I'll be there. Count on it. Merlefest. Oh, Wilkesboro was certainly quiet without you. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, Merlefest was an amazing experience last year. It was a real thrill to get to play there. It's probably the most prestigious Roots, they call it a traditional plus festival in the entire United States. So it was a real honour to be asked to play at it. I'm a listener in Rheinhessen, and I remember well your wonderful concert at the Kulturgut. Oh, excellent, fantastic. Hope to see and hear you there again. I hope to see the Rain Dance will be here soon. Absolutely, it's in the post already, so it should be a couple of days. I'm looking forward to being back there in October, hopefully. Jay on YouTube says, do you have a Venmo? No, I don't have a Venmo because I'm not in the United States. I do have a PayPal link, which is down there, but I don't have a Venmo. And I'll take one more. I'll take one off of Instagram maybe. Let's see what's been said here. What type of guitars are you using? I'm using Maton guitars from Australia. This brand here, Maton. And they're fantastic guitars. The reason I use them mainly is because they sound great on stage. I haven't found anything else that when you plug it in just sounds instantly good. So that's why I'm using them. Alright, we'll move on to some more music. So I'm going to play you an arrangement I did of the tune Proud Mary. What I did for this arrangement is I took kind of 50% Creedence Clearwater Revival and 50% Tina Turner and kind of married them together. So this is what it sounds like. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. of John Fogerty, Creedence Clearwater Revival, mixed with Ike and Tina, mainly Tina. And yeah, that tune is an awful lot of fun to play. I love opening the show with that one sometimes. And the challenging part in that one is probably obvious. It's the two thumbs, because with the right hand thumb, I've got to keep the groove going all the time. So your thumb gets very tired very quickly. And you may have noticed, to keep the kind of the rolling bass line going, to keep this going, I have to stretch my left hand thumb all the way down there. So there's about 5, sometimes 6 frets going on. So it's quite taxing on your hands. The main thing to know if you want to attempt to play any of this stuff is that you shouldn't try to do this straight off the bat. My hands have stretched over the years, so I've got hands like dinner plates now, and it's because I've done so much stretching on the guitar. And people don't believe me when I show them, but it's the truth. My left hand is bigger than my right hand. It's not very obvious on camera. You might think I'm trying to play a trick, but it's the truth. My left hand is actually bigger than my right hand from playing. So there you go. What's the most complicated song you had to learn? That's a good one. It's probably arranging a lot of my stuff is some of the most complicated guitar pieces that I've had to do. In terms of learning, I learned a piece called the A Felicidade is what it's called. I used to call it the Felicidad when I didn't know how it was pronounced, but I learned that off a classical guitar player named Pat Coldrick, and it had some crazy chord shapes in it, and I'd never come across anything like that, so that was probably the hardest thing. But since then, it's probably been arranging some of my own tunes for the guitar has been a little bit of a nightmare at times. Okay, so I hope you're enjoying this stream this week, and as most of you probably already know, my album Rain Dance came out last Tuesday, and if you're one of the people who has purchased it or who has listened to it online, I'm interested to hear what your favourite track is. I'm interested to hear what you think of the album. The feedback so far has been very positive, and it's great to see how many people have bought the album and supported me, especially now at a time like this when all my shows are cancelled. So it really makes a huge difference, and a heartfelt thank you to everyone who has purchased the album and purchased tabs for the album as well. How did you come up with the Doja Cat arrangement? I must admit that song is a guilty pleasure of mine. I came up with that arrangement because I heard it on the radio and I loved it, and I loved the way the vocal harmony worked. I'll play a small bit of it. I won't play the whole thing. So what caught me about that song was, first of all, the groove was so like 1, 2, 3, 4. It was a punch in the face on every 2 and 4. But then the vocal melody as well was going in fourths. Which is really unusual for a modern pop tune, to have it so strong in the mix. So I came up with it the same way I do all my arrangements. I found the melody first, and then I started thinking, well, what's the chord behind that? It's E minor. Can I play E minor along with that? It's close enough. A major, then finding D major, and then from there I work out about getting the backbeat in with my right hand. What else can I fill in that I'm not currently doing? And I build it from there. And what I always look out for in my arrangements is to try and use all the guitar techniques that I know to make the arrangement more interesting. So for example, just yesterday you might have seen that I put up a cover of the theme tune from Animal Crossing from the Nintendo Switch, and I did it just for a bit of a laugh. But what I figured out was, to give it a bit of variety, there's a section in it, I'll have to play it. This section here, the melody goes, but But I didn't think that was that interesting. I was down that section of the guitar already. So I said, I wonder, can I play it on guitar harmonics? And harmonics are created where you touch the string in a certain place and it splits the vibrations in two on the same string. So I found those same notes, C sharp A, F sharp E, F sharp E, C sharp A, F sharp. And I found them all on guitar harmonics, so I played them this way instead. So they all ring together really nicely. So that's what I look out for when I'm arranging for the guitar. I'm trying to make the frequencies that you hear, I'm trying to make them change all the time, as well as sticking to the original ideas and melody. So that's a kind of an insight as to how I put that tune together. So I'll go on to something else. Let's have a little bit of, let's do Live and Let Die. Yeah, I love playing that one. This is for all the McCartney fans out there. I'm a huge McCartney fan, and I went to see McCartney in 2010, I think it was. I went with my dad and my grandfather and my uncle and some of my cousins. All of us went up from home, and it was one of the most incredible concerts I've ever been to. So let's get this in tune for you. There we go. So yeah, when he played Live and Let Die that night, I just thought, oh my God, I've got to learn how to play this on my own. So here you go, this is a little bit of Paul McCartney's Live and Let Die. Singing the whole thing in the comments on Instagram. Everyone to leave a fire emoji in the comments as if we were seeing this live and the explosion was happening. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go! tune. That is an amazing piece of music. I love playing that at the festivals as well because you know it's the kind of tune that people don't always realize that they know it until they hear that. I love the energy in it. And that one was a particular fun one to arrange because for a long time I never really got into it, you know, and so I was kind of playing it a little bit more reservedly. I was kind of going. That's fine, you know, but what I decided to do was I was at a festival last year. I think it was the I can't remember which festival it was. It could have been Merlefest actually in Wilkesboro in North Carolina, and I got into it on the stage and I started hammering it out. And I have my octave pedal here as well, so I turned the octave pedal on, and that, if you heard any of the live streams, it turns my guitar, the lower strings, into a bass. You know, so it gives me that extra low end. So when I kick everything in together, it blows up completely. So at some point I'll have the budget to bring a pyrotechnics team with me on tour, and just for that song, just for the first, you know, get all the flames going. But it's not in the budget at the moment. So we might be waiting a while. If anyone out there is good at CGI or cinema graphics, I might be calling you for a favour. I wonder if McCartney's ever heard your version. I would love that. I'd love if Paul McCartney heard my version. I don't think that he has. I'm not sure, but I would love if even just to get a message off him. I mean, he's such a musical hero. Alright, we're back in standard tuning. So let me know if there's anything else in particular that you'd like to hear. I'm going to do a couple more for you. Was that Wings? Yes, it was Wings. Yeah, it was when Paul McCartney was part of Wings. So yeah, let's see. What else have we got on the list here? I've done Love on Top by Beyonce. I've done Proud Mary. Done Live and Let Die, the Chic medley. I've done American Patrol. I had a couple of requests I saw there for Let's Dance. So I'm going to save that till the end. What else have we got here? Say So, Doja Cat. We went through that. Oh yeah, the theme from the Nintendo Wii. This is something I put up for as a joke about 2 weeks ago, but it seems to have garnered a lot of traction online, and that was something. It was just one of those tunes that I hear every now and again, and everybody kind of knows the dun, 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 and I've been messing around with it for a long time, but as I've said earlier, for all the other tunes, I take the same approach no matter what it is that I'm arranging. I look for what makes the tune stand out. So for me, in a tune like that, when you hear that Nintendo Wii theme, you hear this. You know, and the reason that stands out and sounds correct is that I'm conscious of the dynamics that I choose. So Live and Let Die that I just played, I'm hammering into the guitar because they hammer into their instruments in, you know, when Paul McCartney's band play it. Whereas for a tune like that, I've got to really get very precise and mute the notes straight away. And that's what gives the piece its feeling. I've had a request there for Struttin by Jerry Reed. Okay, I'll play Struttin for you before I play Let's Dance. This is a great piece. This is not a piece that I arranged, but it's a fantastic piece of guitar music written by Jerry Reed and played by countless different fingerstyle players. And I'm playing this because I've had a request for this tune for probably the last 3 weeks straight, and I haven't played it, so apologies. This is Jerry Reed's Struttin'. go. Struttin by Jerry Reed, by request. I should mention as well, I know I've been focusing an awful lot on my arrangements tonight, but because of the way I write music, I end up arranging a lot of the music that I write for guitar, because I don't write it for the guitar. I write all of it for for ensemble or for voice, with lyrics, without lyrics, all that stuff. And so when I'm taking that music and I'm deciding to play it on the guitar, then I have to figure out, okay, well, I've got all these other musical ideas. How am I going to do them on the guitar? And as I said earlier, that process is difficult, but it's a lot of fun. I have to think very physically about the instrument and in terms of what I can get out of it. Grove Road would be cool to hear if you haven't played it yet. Bill, I'll definitely play that for you next week, 100%. I won't get time to do it today, but I'll 100% play it for you next week. And thank you so much for the radio play in Michigan. I really appreciate it, Bill. Bill Marshall is a fantastic human being, and I really enjoyed being in Bill's company last year when I was at the Michigan Irish Music Fest. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Okay, what was I going to do next? I wanted to talk about 2 live streams that I have coming up. One of them is tomorrow night on Instagram only, and I'm doing that as part of a fundraising effort for the UN, for the World Health Organization. And they're doing amazing work in trying to combat this coronavirus pandemic that is happening all over the world at the moment. So I'm going to do my bit for that tomorrow night and try and raise some money for them. So that'll be only on Instagram tomorrow night at Shane Hennessy Music. And then on Saturday I'll be doing a live stream at 3 o'clock Eastern time, which is 9 o'clock Irish time, for the Pittsburgh Irish Fest. They're fantastic people in the Pittsburgh Irish Fest, so I'm looking forward to going live on their Facebook page on Saturday. That's at 3 o'clock Eastern time, for the people who are living on that side of the States. So yeah, those are my next 2 live streams, and as you have seen recently, I've been very uploading videos onto YouTube. Some of the stuff is from my new album, and some of the stuff is guitar arrangements that I've been doing over the last while, so you can expect a lot more of those videos coming over the next little while. Let's see, what else do we have here? Shane, what gear do you use? I'm actually going to do a video about the equipment that I'm using here at the moment, because I'm getting questions every day from musicians asking how I'm getting this sound to the internet. So I'm going to do a YouTube video about the equipment that I use, how I hook it up, why I do what I do. It's not all that different to doing a live gig. You just need a little bit extra at the end, and you can hook it up properly. But I'll have that YouTube video up very soon. And Parker Hastings is watching from Kentucky. Hey, Parker. Parker, if you don't know Parker's music, he's an amazing guitar player. Go and check him out on YouTube. I always love listening to Parker. He's got an amazing groove. All right, so I am going to wrap up this live stream with this. I'm going to talk a little bit about it first and then play it for you. This is an arrangement I did of Let's Dance by David Bowie, and if you look on the YouTube, if you look on YouTube, you'll find a video of when I played that in Whelan's in Dublin for a David Bowie tribute night. There was a core band, and there were a bunch of different Irish singer-songwriters and musicians, and all of us were playing different songs and tunes by David Bowie. And so they asked me, what would you think about playing? And I said, well, I suppose Let's Dance, that would be a cool one to play. And then I started thinking, I'm going to come on after a band, and these people are here to dance and sing along, and then this instrumental guitarist comes out. So then I was thinking, is this going to work? Is it the right sort of environment? But I just said, no, this is a chance to get out there and try and drive the guitar's volume up to 100% and give people a good show. So I arranged Let's Dance, and I put an awful lot of work into trying getting the bass line and the melody line and the chords and the groove, and I worked really, really hard at it, right? So on the night, a couple of different artists play, and the house band are amazing. And then it's my turn to get up. So I get up, and I plug in, and the place kind of looks at me, one guy with a guitar, and I start off with the bass line, and I start going, and they started singing, and I couldn't hear a note of what I was playing. They definitely couldn't hear a note of what I was playing, but it made for the most amazing YouTube video. Look it up on YouTube. It's called Shane Hennessy, Let's Dance, David Bowie, and it's from Whelan's, or I Heart Bowie. And you can't really hear my guitar in it all that much, but you can hear the crowd roaring their heads off, which is an amazing feeling always as a performer. So I'm going to start it the same way. This is Let's Dance by David Bowie. Thank you so much everyone for tuning in tonight. I really appreciate it. If you've enjoyed it, please feel free to leave me a tip in my digital tip jar. That's on PayPal, the link at the bottom of the screen if you're on YouTube or Facebook. And remember, I've got my new CD Rain Dance that has just come out. Take a look at shanehennessy.ie/raindance and you can take a listen to the new album. I'll be back next Wednesday, 8 o'clock Irish time, and until then, take it easy, and I'll leave you with this. Let's dance.